kill him.
All right, welcome everybody. So we are talking about our video game book club. I don't think we need to do the same intro. If you want me to every week, I can do the same intro. You can hear it twice in 1 week.
Introduce yourself.
No, I'm going to, but I was going to say, I don't think you all that are listening that have maybe listened on Monday and are now listening on like whatever day this comes out.
If it upsets you, comment down below.
Yeah, and if you want me to start doing it every time, I'll do it every time. But otherwise, we're here to talk about our video game, and my name is Alex, a.k.a. the Godfather, as always.
I'm Christian, a.k.a. Suda145.
Preston, a.k.a. Funkadelic Jedi.
Yeah, so today we're diving into our part 1 of Prince of Persia, 20 years later. Came out.
Can I just say really quick, before we even get into the game?
Warrior Within, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Start roll.
Yeah. You have had so far a really uncanny ability to pick them during our book club series.
So let's talk about that really quick, right? When I approach this, I don't know how you guys approach it. It may be similar, maybe different. I'm not actually looking for something of like, I've really wanted to play this game. Like Metro, Christian, you were like, I've really wanted to play the series. I think it'd be fun to play together and so on. And like, part of me, sometimes there's like, oh, I really want to play that game. But a lot of times it's not. A lot of times I look at this as like, what would be interesting and fun? Maybe a retrospective, a long time. I think the last couple of picks have been like anniversaries of games coming out and so on.
Game.
Yeah, right? So like,
Some of them just keep happening to be from fucking Ubisoft.
They do. That's fair. That was not on purpose, by the way. Not on purpose at all. But yeah, I'm looking at these a little bit of like what would be an interesting retrospective, and not so much of like I really want to play this game. There have been a couple of games that I actually have wanted to play, and I've actually decided like not to do last minute for various reasons that maybe still stay on my list. But no, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I don't know.
It's either like in every case, it's like either the game just fucking in almost all of them except for what was the mobile game that turned PC port that we played? What was that one again?
It's not the Witness. It's
yeah. The bow and arrow.
Yep.
Starts with the P. Pathless.
Pathless.
Thank you. Outside of that game, every single game you have chosen has run like shit. Like it's crazy. Like even Mafia, a game that I did enjoy, still that PC port was held together with fucking string and gum, and
well, whatever brand gum you use is better than this one. So
yeah, fuck, man. But I just want to say, I was playing this today, and I was finishing it up because goddamn, this section was long, and I was like going through it, and there was a couple moments that like immediately flew me back in time to when I had played this game first, and there was bugs that are still present that I hit that blow me away. And then other random things that were just PC port specific things. And I was like, man. I was like, what is it with Alex's choices and fucking horrible performance or bugs? Like, fuck me.
Retrospectives, man. As we get into here, how long was your playtime? Because the section actually didn't seem that long to me. The playtime is a whole different story, and there were reasons why my playtime was longer. But
Steam has me right around like 5-ish hours.
Oh, okay, that's very long.
So I'm gonna come clean. I didn't finish part 1.
Okay.
I have a cutoff. Now this next time I'm gonna give myself multiple sessions, but I did start it yesterday. I had things to do. I came home like, you know what? I got plenty of time. Let's sit down and do this. Start around 2:30. 5 o'clock rolls around. I need dinner. I go get dinner. And I told myself, if I'm not fucking finished with this part by 8 o'clock, I will stop playing this game because I need to have some happiness in my life. So,
Remember, that's on me. Remember, I said I didn't know how long it was going to be.
That's all right. It happens.
I couldn't figure
Metro.
out.
It's hard to do sometimes. It's fine. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal. I was willing to do it, but when it got to 8 o'clock and I got to like the 5+ hour mark, Preston
Yeah.
has a limit.
Yeah,
That is apparently the limit. The 4 to 5 hour mark's the limit. And if I had an extra day, I would have gone back to it. I would have finished it. But I didn't have that extra day because I did the day before. I will give myself more time now. I know. But that being said,
I'll do a smaller section now that I know how long it
want
took
to be
you
clean
guys.
about it. Want to come clean on it. It's I did not finish this part. I got close,
It's okay.
but I did not finish it.
It's okay.
I know it is.
Okay. So
I'm okay with it.
yeah. No, and I'll that's good because I had a longer section picked because I wasn't quite sure how long it took you, so I'll bump it back. And okay. So, and maybe we'll make this one super short as a catch-up session.
I mean, you don't have to. I have plenty of time to catch up, so it's not
No.
a big deal. Metaphor doesn't
We'll be
come out
good.
for a whole another week. We're good.
We'll make this one short. It's fine. So, a little bit of this is 2004 Ubisoft. This is a sequel to the Sands of Time. People consider this the Sands of Time trilogy, which I actually don't remember the Two Thrones necessarily being a direct sequel, but
It is.
Yeah.
okay, it's been a long time since I played it, to be fair. So, just a quick recap. This game picks up right where Sands of Time left off. So, for anybody
Sure
that
does.
played the Sands of Time, here's essentially the story, right? The Prince of Persia, along with his dad's army, invades a kingdom. And they essentially take everybody out and capture the women. And then, as they do this, the prince... that's what happens. And then as they do
You're not
this,
wrong.
the prince finds a dagger, which is the key to unlocking the hourglass and the sands of time. So, essentially, he and the army and all the women they captured go to see the Maharaja and be like, look, I have this cool dagger and we've done it. And then he plunges it into the sands of time, releasing them, knocks everybody out. People wake up. Really just the prince and what is the girl's name? Farah? Or is that Farah
Yeah.
was the first one? Yeah.
Farah, yeah.
He and Farah wake up and they realize everybody in this kingdom are now sand people. And not like the Star Wars sand people, like really evil sand people that are trying to take you out. And through this interesting, like, power dynamic of I just took out your kingdom and enslaved you, they fall in love, which is totally normal.
Sure.
And then, essentially...
Yeah, we all watched
and
Pocahontas.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's a little bit of a mistrust thing that happens for Antics because he sees a vision of her betraying him anyway. At the end, she dies, and like towards the end, and you fighting the Visor, the real bad
Vizier.
guy, the Vizier. Thank you. You use your dagger and the sands to rewind time before the kingdom even invades. And then essentially you save everybody and you expose the Vizier and he gets caught for doing what he's doing. And then you go to Farah and you're like, hey, I'm going to try and rekindle this without telling you what's going on. And she's like, you're an idiot, leave me alone. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll never love again. Which essentially brings us right now, because you go from this very happy-go-lucky prince in the Sands of Time, like kind of goofy.
A
And, like,
fucking incel.
you're an edgelord. So I have my note here, just a bit of character stuff. This game should definitely be called Edgelord Within, because the prince is very moody. His hair is now like black and stringy. Instead of wearing like the white pants stuff, he's wearing like all black.
He has some guy liner.
Yep. So here's where this game starts. So this game essentially starts with like a flashback or a vision. We're not really sure what yet. And the prince is running through this like town, and we don't really know what he's running from. It seems like he's running from like shadows. And essentially the shadows catch up to him right when he pulls out his two swords, because like that's the new thing in this game. I got two swords instead of like one dagger, and they're like really jaggedy swords for some reason.
Metal.
And very, very edgelordy. And the shadows catch up to you, and all of a sudden Prince wakes up and you are on a boat, right? And my note says, and then boom, we're on a boat, bitch. And this is no Catalina wine mixer, because this boat is being invaded. So another boat shows up, pulls up, and as we look across, there's all these like things, creatures, people in like scully, like animal skull masks, and they're coming over. And I said, pretty soon we see we got boats and we got hoes, because along with these bad guys, enter Dami Mommy Shade or Sade or Shadi. I think it's Shadi actually.
Why Sade?
Shade.
I thought it was Shade, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Shade, yeah.
They haven't really said. I think it's Shadi, but yes. And can I say this lady is wearing the most inappropriate cold weather rainy clothes that anyone could wear. She's basically in like a micro bikini with thigh highs, and for no reason whatsoever, they gave this woman cakes. I mean,
big
like
old Christmas hams right there,
dude. They do. Ubisoft does the most inappropriate ass zoom slow mo as she is
scene
walking
that you
up.
see is just the ass walking through. Yeah,
It is like a few seconds of just ass in thong walking up the stairs, and that pretty much sets the tone for this game.
Yep.
Right, which is like we are going to be
the song that they commissioned to have for this as well, which we did talk after we recorded, but we did not mention. So if you want to mention that song, feel free.
We will talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay. So I just looked it up. It is pronounced Shoddy.
Shoddy. That was close. So yes, they give us just like the biggest shoddy ass shot, and they spent more time rendering this cutscene than any facial animation in this entire game, because I don't jokingly say this like it just like the ass is perfect, but like from a 2004 game, it is perfect animation. And if they would have just spent like any bit of longer on any other cutscene in this game, it would have looked really good.
I remember when that scene plays in the very beginning, and I had just gotten that game. I went down to my room downstairs, put it in my PlayStation, started playing, and that scene started playing, and I remember being like, if my mom comes down and sees this, I'm going to get my ass beat.
So the note I just have here, I was saying, like, you know, slow motion stair climbing and all, like this ass shot for no reason. And I said, and the more I'm talking and writing, and the fact that this is one of the games I played as a kid, I start to realize a lot of stuff makes sense for me now. A lot of stuff makes sense for me now.
And that's big.
And she is very Donnie, like just straight up.
Yeah.
So, anyway, she looks our way. She has this weird, like, seductive walk, and she's like looking at all the guys around her, and she just says, kill him. So we, as the prince, have to pick our jaw up off the floor. We grab our swords because we have some killing mindless zombies to do, and that's what we do. So we fight along the boat. We get to the top of the boat or the back of the boat, whatever, and Shadi is there. And we have our first bit of incredible dialogue where she was like, you'll never make it to our shores alive. And we respond with, like, you better hope I don't. And boy, this first boss fight, a couple things. Like, one, to Preston's point, is when music really starts to kick in. And for this game, we have some official licensed music from the eclectic happenings of the mega butt rock metal band Godsmack.
That song doesn't play here, though.
No, but like some of that music is, I think they're done from the same composer. Like a lot of that is there. So the song only happens later with the Dahaka, but the music and the guitar.
I think there's only one song from Godsmack in this game. Everything else is inside Ubisoft.
But it's still, they got a guitar riff that's...
It's the same... Yeah, but it's the same, like...
Sure, yeah.
Same style.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll get there in a little bit. But yes, I just want to be clear that this is all internal Ubisoft composition up until that one song.
Up until the Dahaka comes.
Yeah, only even sometimes when the Dahaka comes. Not all the time, because they really...
That is true. And anyway,
they don't use music all the time.
We'll get there. So, but the metal plays a lot throughout this game for like in the weirdest spots.
Sometimes
calling it metal is so generous, but yeah.
There's guitar riffs. That's true.
How dare you? Godsmack is the most metal of metal bands.
No, I'm talking about the internal composition things. I'm not going to touch that statement with like a 10-foot pole. You can leave that there, but I'm the regular internal compositions. It's like during the tutorial thing, like it starts off like right after she just kill him. It's just I remember I was like, oh, I forgot how fucking lame this was because it's just like down, 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 and then they repeat that
the whole time,
the entire time. It never ends. Yeah.
Speaking of the music never ending, this fight, it does end, but like first of all, I'm playing this game on easy because I just wanted to get through it, which is a good choice because even on easy, this is the hardest game I've played this year, by the way. So, and then
I remember so much of it that I cheat. It's so easy for me, but yeah, go ahead.
Different reasons, we'll talk about it. So, this fight, pretty simple. I hold block, she does her 4-hit combo, I smack her 2, 3, 4 times, hold block, 3-hit combo, smack a couple times.
Sometimes she tries to trick you with the last one every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, she's done, she's not done. Gotcha.
We get to the end of the fight, she kicks us in the chest, we go flying back into the water. And when we're into the water, in the storm, we have a vision. And again, we're not really sure if this is a vision or a flashback. I'm pretty sure this is a flashback. And interestingly enough, we seem to be having a flashback with the Vizier from the first game. And I actually didn't look this up.
The Vizier. I thought it was the you're talking about the dude in the tent, right?
Yeah. So
it's just like to my knowledge, it's just like a wise man. Like it's just a dude he's visiting.
Yeah, but so that's what I was gonna say. I didn't look this up necessarily. Like, I didn't go deep enough to verify, but there is debate on whether this is just a shaman in the desert or if this is the Vizier, because you do start to have a conversation about the sands, and there's a couple of lines he has that alludes back to dialogue the Vizier had in the first game. So there is an unconfirmed debate on the internet of who you're having this conversation with, right? And essentially, we figure out what is going on. So we find out that there is a land far off, which is where we're headed, that is known. Island of Time is known to have portals all over the place, and it gave people the ability to move through time. So
it's the birthplace of the sands.
Yeah. So the prince thinks it would be a great idea to go there and, as the birthplace of the sands, to try and stop the sands from ever being created, to kind of change when he did the reversal, destiny.
Yeah, when he did the reversal back in the first game, it unlocked the time beast that chases him now. Essentially,
when he went back and used the sands of time and then destroyed everything and then went all the way back to change it, he brought about the TVA. And the TVA is after him, right? The Time Variance Authority is now after him to purge.
Is that a Doctor Who thing?
No, it's a Loki.
No, it's the Loki. It's a Marvel thing.
Oh.
It's a Marvel thing. So they were trying to purge him from the timeline to make it right, and they have unleashed the Dahaka. So he's like, oh, if I can go back and destroy it if I can use time travel to fix time travel, then the time guy won't be able to get me. That doesn't make sense, but no. I digress.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. So
he unleashed Sully from Godsmack to come chase him around the game.
So we wake up on the shore, and joke's on you, pretty lady. I guess we made it here anyway. In fact, you probably could have killed us on the ship, but you kicked us off, and you made us land where you didn't want us to be. So we get there. And we're headed up the castle to what I have written down as to some dope-ass 2000s butt rock jams. And we find Shadi again, who, with some dialogue and some little action scenes, essentially helps us get our first sword, and then she runs away. And she inadvertently helps us. We beat some guys to pick up a sword. Anyway, that is our tutorial, but our goal is to chase her around this castle, because she's the one with information, right? So we chase her around, doing little puzzles and jumpies and stuff until she hits a portal. And this is our first introduction to the mechanic of this game, which is where we have portals to go back in time, where this castle goes from dilapidated to beautiful and all in its relevance, right?
And basically, right before right before the Empress has created the sand. So it's like, peak of this castle. Like it is.
Yeah. And that's and that is relevant because like in its heyday is where we need to be because that's where the Empress is, and what we wanted to do. So my next note just says, so we continue chasing her through the portal, and we jump, climb, run, dodge, wall run, swing, 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 kill some people, swing, jump, jump, slow walk on a plank, slide down the tapestry, run, 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 dodge, enter a room with Dami Mommy and New Lady fighting, and we're at our first cutscene. I'm sorry if I missed anything there, because I know there were some, like, spinny blades, but I think I got the gist of it. If you've never played a Prince of Persia game, it's a platformer, you're running and you're dodging puzzles, and that's from point A to point B. So we don't know her name yet, the lady in red. For now, I'm just going to refer to her as Boobs McGee. And look, I don't want to reduce this character to like one character trait because I think that's not right by the characters.
But clearly the
devs did, right? The devs designed her for one thing. So until we actually get her name, which we do not in this playthrough, she will be referred to as Boobs McGee. So essentially in this fight, Boobs McGee gets knocked off this ledge with Shoddy, and she's like, "Hey, please help us." So like, we have to protect her by fighting off Shoddy. Man, Christian, I think you said it the last time we were talking before we actually started playing this game. The fights and stuff in this game, like, this is a period piece. Like, if you wondered what games were like from 2004, like, this is a period piece. The fighting is straight out of 2004. The clunkiness is out of that time. Like, the camera angles, the weird,
I can't even go that far. This game is in it. Prince of Persia, The Two Thrones is a little bit better. But
Sands of Time
it was Warrior Within, like, there's other games that came out. Like, dude, don't forget, 2004.
Sands of Time was good.
2004, Halo 2 came out. Like,
sure.
It's not like games were fucking hard. San Andreas came out. It's not like games were fucking...
Force Unleashed was around that time, too.
San Andreas was clunky in itself, by the way.
KOTOR was, or KOTOR 2 was, one of those two.
But this is peak Ubisoft having production meetings in strip clubs.
Yeah, like that's what I was going to get at. It's like,
yeah.
It's not like games weren't figured out around now, but this is peak Ubisoft bullshit. Like, there's just things about this that up until this point, like, we ran through it, like some of these platforming things, and there's a bug that I remember vividly happening that we'll get to later that it pissed me off the same level it pissed me off back then, and I literally felt myself like fly back in time to being angry again because of like what happened. But like, yeah, so for all these fights, just so everyone's clear, I want to give you guys a hot tip from the early OG Prince of Persia speedrunning community that you can just feel free to use these whenever. Most fights are not necessary. You can just run right by them.
I found that out towards the end of my play.
Yeah. So there's tons of fights that you can just be like, "Oh, are you guys in my way to this ladder over here? Excuse me." You go right to the ladder and you just keep going because it means nothing. You don't get experience. You don't get anything. Unless you need a refill on your Sans powers, it's pointless.
Which you can also get from just like breaking barrels around the kingdom.
The other option is most times they'll be like they'll put enemies like around like ledges and things and stuff that's like, I can't get around them reliably. I don't know what I'm going to do. If you just press circle or B to take them, you can throw them right off the edge and then just move on with your fucking life and keep going.
Hold on. So, we'll just quickly digress before we get back to the story. I have never been more frustrated with a game than playing this one for two reasons. So there were a couple times where I would run past people, but there came a point where I had made a couple of bad jumps. This is in early in, like, right before this cutscene, where you have to platform up a wall and then you run across the rafters, like, all around the room, and then you slide down the tapestry, and that opens the door. But, like, this is our first introduction to the ninja ladies, and these ninja ladies just jump over your head constantly. And the way to deal with them is just grab and throw them, right? Just throw them off the edge. On Steam Deck, regardless of the 3 or 4 different community layouts that I chose, grab does not exist. So I found that you have to beat them into submission, and in order to kill these ladies, so they go to 2 phases. You hit them enough, they turn kind of sandsy, and you're like, oh, you're about to kill them.
Yeah.
They go sandsy at about 12 to 15 hits. To kill them, and I counted, and I verified this on multiple ladies because I cannot throw them, it takes 55 hits.
Mm-hmm. I found out
so
my first time.
I got trapped.
I told him,
So I got trapped in a spot where when you first meet one of those ladies along the bridge, she like swipes at you and you can jump and knock her off. But then you have to essentially go to a side of the room on the platform and then swing up to the second room to get on the banister, which is right before you just drop down and slide down the tapestry. There's a ninja lady there, which prevents the camera and you from kind of like jumping over the edge because like you just want to lock onto her. I had no sands and like 1 blip of health. So I was getting one shot because if I made one wrong move, and dude, you have no idea how many times you can get hit at different stages when you're trying to hit somebody 55 times and all she does is jump over your fucking head. I almost quit this game and said, like, fuck it, we're doing something else. But finally, I beat her on the bottom platform, and she does not show up on the top platform, and I could quickly kill the guy that just throws some stuff, and I was able to make it out. But, bro, there's no grab option on any community layout that I choose.
Christian, I did tell him that you can just go into the options, hit controls, and just assign buttons to whatever ability or...
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will. I'll have to.
Oh, yeah, I recommend it, for sure.
I have never been more frustrated.
I
learned you could run when I got to the area where 3 of those ninja ladies popped down at one time, and I almost lost my mind. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it.
So on Steam, there is a community layout. It's the top rated one. It does have grab assigned to a button. So why that is not available for Steam Deck, I don't know, but that's something you'll have to take up between you and Gabe.
Just go into the settings, hit controller, you can go to the ability that you want, whether it's jump, grab, hit, or whatever, click on it, and then press the button and assign it. I had to figure that out myself.
Another option is...
Quit game.
No, Preston, if you want, you can mute this part. You should. I want it to be funny. You should bleep me out again, like we did last time. Alex, if you want to go onto your Steam Deck and use the drop this game into that, you will have a much better time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
It will play like a regular video game.
I'm not kidding when I say these words. This game from 2004. I beat Black Myth Wukong this week, guys. I beat it. This is the hardest game I've played all year. Infuriatingly difficult.
Frustratingly hard.
So anyway, we have to fight Shoddy. We stab her after the same fight we just had with her with like a huge health bar for no reason. We stab her, and then we go over and we save Boobs McGee. And we tell Boobs that we want to talk to the Empress. So she basically says, like, no, you're not going to talk to the Empress. She doesn't want to talk to you. She doesn't trust you guys. And we have this great line. She's like, who do you think you are? And we're like, I'm the Prince of Persia. Hello. And like, we literally say the words. And then right when we say that, Shoddy sits up and she's like, you idiot, you can't change your fate. and she explodes and or disappears in a flash of sand or maybe light.
I believe she explodes. It does because there's definitely like a poof that comes with it, and everybody's like, the prince is like, oh Jesus Christ! Like it's like I don't know. Can I just say I hate the way my brain enables itself to run with stupid bits like the Boobs McGee one because my brain immediately went like after you said it that time is like her introducing herself and be like, my name is Boobs A McGee and the A stands for Awooga.
Well, the great thing is like she didn't have to say it. Instead, as we meet her and we say, hey lady, they do a slow turn to the side and they give her the side profile view. And oh boy, like just as they gave Shoddy some cakes, they turned this up to like, they turned the slider to 11 for like
somebody
no
put
reason.
some money into them titties. That's for sure.
Dude,
Yeah,
one of the
they're not moving.
did some. One of the Guillemot brothers did fucking coke out of a strip club and was like, "Guys, I got an idea for the next Prince of Persia."
She's the princess.
Yeah.
Like if I were her, I would never carry a backpack. I would never wear pants with pockets. Like I would just set everything.
Video game.
I would just set everything right on top. What do you think her name was? Like I know the character's name. Like do you think it was? I don't want to make fun of like goofy. I don't want to make goofy stripper names because that's degrading to people that do that profession. But also like 100%, this guy's favorite stripper's boobs made their way into this character.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, look. So Shoddy sits up. She explodes. The room starts to crumble.
Can you imagine? Hold on, I'm sorry, because I just can't let this go by. Could you imagine being a small boy in Canada whose mother was the basis for this character, and then a bunch of people, you're all playing Prince of Persia, everybody's hanging out, and then your friends slowly look at you and they're like, is that your fucking mom?
My characters don't look that good. You couldn't be on.
You want to know?
I bet you bet no.
But if you're a friend that knows what your buddy's mom does, and you've probably spent some time staring, like 100.
And you're like, I know those boobs anywhere.
I love how Discord just takes out all the laughter, so all I hear is silence this entire time.
And the worst part is too, like you know, Eves or his brother, whichever Gilmon was doing the coke and throwing just loonies at her, like not even a lot of money, so she barely got paid, and he just totally stole her likeness and put her in this game. So she didn't even get paid. She probably left with like 15 loonies, and that's what she has. Which, by the way, for our Canadian friends, I'm sure I'm using it incorrectly, because I'm pretty sure loonies are coins and would definitely hurt if you throw them, but either way.
I don't think that the Emo brothers fucking care.
So anyway, the room starts to crumble and Boobs leaves, telling us to leave as well because the Empress has no love for the world of men, and she'll kill us if she senses our presence. And so I don't know. We decide we need to travel back to the future.
By this point, we've seen a bunch of the enemies, and sometimes like they start talking. Now, can I say the one thing I did forget about this game? I forgot what fucking jobbers these dorks were. Like their voice, and like they're like, like it's like they just, and I'm like, God,
Looney Tune
the
fucking
way you
bank
guys,
robbers, yeah.
I know, dude. I was like, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, you guys sound like fucking Looney Tune characters.
The weird thing too is like because of this kingdom being just two women we've seen so far, and like they don't like the word of men and so on. They're definitely like the mindless zombie type of enemy. So why give them voices to begin with? Like it doesn't make any sense. It didn't need it
at all.
And some of these enemies say things like there's like the crow enemies, right? They like turn themselves into a person, and some of these enemies pretend like they're pretty familiar with the prince, and I'm like, I don't fucking know you, and how do you know me? Like one of them, like with the crow enemy, right? Like if you take too long to get to his next spot, he'll always he'll start chirping at you. And one of them is like, something like defeat does not suit you, prince, or whatever. You need to hurry up and get back up here, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, what the fuck do you know about what me and what suits me? You don't know me at all. Like. Yeah, how do you even know I'm a prince because the Empress said the Prince of Persia is here. But whatever,
we also introduced ourselves here in a minute, going, "I'm the Prince of Persia." So it sounds a lot like we just kind of yell it everywhere we go.
But I'm just like, you don't know me at all, dude. Like, what the fuck are you like? Don't act like we're rivals that we fight all the time.
So, as we're making our way through, we have to travel back to the future. Not the good one, just like where the castle's all degraded, right? And we're back to the Scary Dark Castle, and what do we meet? It's our first encounter with the Dahaka. And if you aren't familiar with the musical stylings of the song I Walk Alone from Godsmack, or Stand Alone, was it this? I think it was also in a movie, wasn't it? Like,
I'm sure it's
they
been all over the place.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a very popular song.
I didn't get a chance to Google it. I could have sworn. I could very well be wrong. I could have sworn this was also used in like the Scorpion King movie.
I know that was used in
Rock.
trailers 100% for other movies for sure.
Oh, well, let me tell you. It was in The Mummy. It was in
The Mummy.
So hold
so
on, because I'm not done.
Okay.
The Mummy Returns. The Mummy and the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. It was also in the Scorpion King.
I knew it was in the Scorpion King.
It was also in the Scorpion King 3 Battle for Redemption. And it was also in the Scorpion King Book of Souls in 2018. It was also in Gods of Egypt, apparently. I don't understand what made it skip the second Scorpion King.
Yeah. What year
it's there. Sorry, the second Scorpion King's also there. Yep.
What year was the first Scorpion King?
I don't know. It wasn't in the first Scorpion King for some reason.
29.
So
2010.
I don't understand what it is about this very.
I'm sorry. No, that was
not in the movies.
That was in for people also search for. Sorry, let me go to okay.
Yeah,
Continue.
it wasn't in the Mummy movies. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this song is not great. But this is the first opportunity we have to hear. We don't even hear the lyrics, right? We just hear the music itself. But if you knew the song, then it's gonna stick out. So this is what we are running from the Dahaka to, and we are just
Just really quick, I just want to touch. So it was in the Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. The only other thing that it was in Guitar Hero and some Rock Band games. The other thing that it was in, the only movie it was in, is Return of the Living Dead: Necropolis.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Then I felt
it
like
just apparently it was. It says that it was in. I don't understand. So when you search for "I Stand Alone," Godsmack, and then like movie credits, it says that it's in the original Scorpion King.
Maybe like end credits song.
It comes up, maybe,
because I don't remember that.
But then
so here's the thing. I remember. God, this is fucking terrible. I don't even want to say this. I don't remember if they did like a making the band or making the music video. Right? Remember when that was a TV show? If they did that episode or what? But I distinctly remember the making of this music video, and they had Scorpion King stuff in it. So
it is. It says. Is in the soundtrack.
Yeah,
it is.
There we go.
Number one song. It is the top title song for Godsmack.
Yes,
for Scorpion King. It's in there.
I don't know.
The reason I was reading those other ones because it said that people also search for, but it seems like it was old. But it doesn't. It didn't get official credits. I don't know. Okay. It doesn't matter.
So I knew it was in that
Scorpion King. It was in a couple other movies.
I'm glad I knew that, and I'm glad that fact is wasting away something else in my brain. So that's great. I don't know why the song is associated with like Egyptian Persian stuff. Doesn't make much sense to me because it doesn't really fit. But anyway, so we're running from the Dahaka.
2004. That's what you need to know.
Yeah, that's fair. If I'm not mistaken, too, this was the time where like having one of those bands do your theme song was like the thing to do, because I think this is right around the same time that Mission Impossible 2 had Metallica do their theme song, right?
Was it Linkin Park? I think it was Linkin Park.
No, Metallica did the Mission Impossible 2 one.
Okay.
Linkin Park did every Transformers film because
boy did they.
Michael Bay. So anyway, as we run from the Dahaka, we run through a waterfall and we find out that the Dahaka is scared of water. God, I must have been on something last night when I wrote my notes. I put, we learned the Dahaka is scared of water, circa Signs with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
So anyway, back to the past we go. As we go around twice throughout this playthrough, we see this shadowy figure. Once we're running around, we see him or it way up above us on this moving platform that didn't disappear. And then later, we see it on the other side of a gate, and it throws an axe at us. So F you, man. We don't really know why. But eventually, we find Boobs again, who tells us that this place is super dangerous.
And really quick, sorry,
yeah.
I want to say a comment about the part with the I Stand Alone thing. It is so much worse quality than every other song in the video game. When it starts playing, it is because the rest of the audio, by the way, drops out of the game completely.
Yeah, it does.
It feels like they just pressed play on an MP3 of it, dropped the MP3 in, did no normalizing whatsoever, did no mixing, did nothing to put the actual song in the game. Because when you start playing, it just starts it's quieter than everything else that's in the game. It's the levels aren't right. It's so fucking stupid.
It does a weird fade out too, when you're safe again. So anyway, so again, Boobs tells us the place is dangerous and we shouldn't have come back, and that the Empress is about to create the Sands of Time. And we're great, that's what we need to stop. Tell us where to go. And she's you need to get to the throne room. And she's but you can't. This, you don't need to be here. This isn't for you. And Edgelord of Persia looks at the lady and says, look, I saved your life twice now, and all I'm asking you is for information on how to stop it. And she's
what's the second time he's talking about, by the way?
I don't know. That's just
Thank
the
you.
line that he says.
I wanted to check, because I was I don't remember saving her a second time. Okay.
That's why I have that written. That's why I have that written down, because it stood out to me as
oh, he picked her up from falling off the platform, and then when she comes back as far as the booty, Shorty comes after you, and then you kind of block her away, and then she runs off or whatever the fuck.
Well, that's just one. That's one saving time though. Everything that happened in that one experience is one saving.
Hey, he's just trying to get the numbers where he can, man.
I suppose.
Trying to buff his numbers, pad his stats over
Technically,
here.
it was 2 times I saved you.
So, there's nothing
Stat
women
padding,
love more than stat padding. So, she's well, look, essentially what you have to do is you have to activate the towers. But the towers are stopped, so you got to power them with the moat. So essentially you have to go activate a tower, and then go activate another tower, and connect the moats, and the water will power everything. And oh, by the way, here's a sword that you're going to need that's really your key. And we're great! So we set off on our way, and again, we run, climb, jump, dodge, travel through time, do it some more, pause to kill a new golem enemy. Yeah, pause to kill a new enemy, come back, go again. Anyway, we're doing it. And we stop at the point we're about to go to Clockworks and Gears and activate the mechanical pit, which is around the second tower. That's where we are.
You guys are.
That's where we are.
No, I got you. It's a joke. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. My initial thoughts of this game, as I said.
So really quick, before we go into the thoughts, I just want to talk about. So I don't know if you guys experienced the same bug during the water tower sequence. There's a part when everything is overgrown, right? Before you get in there. On the right side of the room, there's a part where you have to run across the wall to grab a rope, and then the rope goes back and forth, and then you shoot off to the other side. You keep going. There is a bug. It's repeatable so many times in this game that, for whatever reason, I don't know what triggers it, but once you trigger it, you will just fall off the rope as opposed to continuing your run like you're supposed to. And it immediately flung me back in time because I experienced this same bug, and it made me mad all over again because back then it was obviously internet was not the internet that we have now, and so it was a lot harder to go and try to look up what to do in video if you got stuck, right? So in my mind, because this kept happening to me over and over again, I was I keep dying here. I can't. This clearly just isn't the way. I don't know what's happening, but I don't know why it's wrong. Full 24 hours go by. I go into I don't remember why. I think my mom wanted to go into one or whatever. But there was a Barnes and Noble. We go in. What's there? Oh, the Brady Games fucking thing for Warrior Within. So I'm let me start paging through this motherfucker to see if I can figure out what's happening. And what do I see on there but a picture of him just running across the wall like normal, and that's what you're supposed to do. And I was like, what the fuck? So I go back, turn the game on, get back in, and it worked. And I was like, what happened? I don't understand. So just so you know, if that ever happens to you, your best bet is to literally die, like go all the way back, restart, and then like try again, because you've triggered some sort of unknown condition where the rope won't work. It's incredible.
So my thoughts on this, I did not experience that. The way I'm playing, which is an official version on Steam, right? Like,
yep. Oh, is it?
So it's legit. It's legit. The way I'm playing is definitely the worst way to experience this game.
The PC port is god awful. I don't understand why anybody would.
I was looking up something because I was wondering about that, and apparently the PC and the PS3 remaster version, whatever, are the same game and have the same bugs and everything like that. And neither one of them is any better. Now, to go and get a good version of the game, quote unquote good version, you have to go to the original game itself because apparently the remaster / PC port are fucking garbage.
So so like again, like this is the hardest game I've played. Running and traversing for me is okay. But like fighting is awful because like I don't have half my stuff. I can't throw anybody. It took forever. Like literally in that one room where I was fighting the ninja women, it took me an hour and a half, like just there because I was just beating my head against the wall. I only had one bug. And I don't know if you remember early on, you are essentially running through some traps, spiked floors, and then like 3 different like spiky beams that come in, and then you hit a ladder, and as you go down there's 3 like spiky beams coming across and you have to slide down the ladder. At the bottom of that you go straight through a hallway where there's a save point, so you drink some water and then you go through another hallway that's into that room where you have to fight everything. So the first time I did it, I came around, I drank some water, I look up and I just run straight through the hallway, and it's a black door. And I went straight into a room of emptiness. My character model disappeared, but I see like a little like... I don't see me, but I see like a little like check that I know where I'm at. And I ran around the black room for a second, and the game crashed. Just disappeared. And
I had a crash too, yeah.
And then when I turned it back on, I turned left and I went over there, and there's this huge room in that emptiness void. I'm like, oh, that's what was supposed to be there. Got it.
Yeah, I'm going to say... If you feel free to bleep me again. I'm going to say that getting a Steam Deck is going to be probably the preferred way to play for everybody. I'm just going to let you know.
I'm not restarting this game.
That's fair. Totally fair.
I'm not going through that again. It's not just me trying to figure stuff out. It's that the combat in here is bad. There's no choosing who you lock onto. So I'm pressing X till I want to jump over this guy. Guess what? He wants to try to jump over the ninja lady now, and now she's going to fuck my day up. There's no decisions that you get to
just throw. You got to throw everybody. Just throw everybody all the time.
Or your other option is sometimes if you got to jump over somebody and it picks the wrong one, and then it sends you off an edge, and you're dead.
That'll happen too. Yep, and I do remember that really pissing me off back in the day. That's why I did not beat this game.
I beat this game. I remember I beat all 3 of these games.
I beat the first one.
I was super into the Prince of Persia series back then.
I think I may restart in the preferred way to play before we get back together next time. But anyway, so my thoughts. It looks like a game from its time.
It looks fine. Yeah, I'll give it that.
The music is overdone, but I appreciate the fact they went with something licensed and they tried something different, I guess. For now, we'll see how it goes.
Is bad because it will just cut off at any fucking point in time. The audio mixing in this entire game is fucking trash. You know how many times I'm in somewhere like this lush jungle palace area, it's fucking silent. Get some goddamn birds chirping or something there and water fucking falling down. How fucking lazy do you have to be to have pure silence in your fucking Prince of Persia, which is probably considered a AAA game back in the day? Fucking trash.
So, man, on the plus side, we got some TNA, right? So that's what you got. I guess.
That is not the pros column.
I gotta see some
This game, for the life of it, is holding on to that. Like, if the prince was like, you spent a lot of your time like climbing on walls, hanging on by your fingertips, like trying not to die. Like, if this prince was real life, like hanging on to a wall, like the slimmest margin and slimmest thread, what would be holding him up is Shoddy's ass and Boobs McGee's boobs. Like that is what the devs leaned into on this one. They're like, you're like, hey, this is a hollow game, and they go, nah, but not if you look here and here, right? Like it is.
We'll make sure they show up just enough for you.
Yeah, just you'll run into them just enough to when you start to get frustrated or start to be like, hey, what's going on? They're like, but look.
What about that ass though?
So anyway, that is part number 1 of our video game book club playthrough of the Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within, Edgelord Within, as I'm going to call it for now until his character has some development and changes my mind. But yeah,
he won't. Nope.
He may not. On the plus side, in the next playthrough,
don't shorten it for me to catch up. Don't worry about that.
She will
and
she will earn her name.
Yeah. Go ahead and choose the section that you wanted to choose. Do not pull it back because I need to catch up. Unless you guys plan on restarting the game, then feel free to do that for catch up.
No, yeah, we can go. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do. So according to this, so the last thing we played through, we had a lot of segments. Like part 2 was
Intro,
11 segments. Part 3 was 12 segments.
Tower.
So this time we're going to go part 4, which is 9. Part 5, which is only 3. And then part 6, which is 9. So it's about the same, maybe a little less. But we are essentially going to get to Central Hall with a save title of A Throne and a Mask. And do we want to do that? Throne and a Mask? Yeah, sure. A throne. We want to do a Throne and a Mask, but we're going to get to the goal is return to the throne room. So either a Throne and a Mask and return to the throne room.
Central Hall, a Throne and a Mask.
I actually return to the throne room, Central Hall, Throne and a Mask. Yes, and this is probably just going to be a 3-parter, by the way. So if we do this, it'll be 3 parts. I think I'm going to try and find the time to play it the preferred way, but that's where we are at.
And Christian, hats off to you for not giving Alex shit, because Alex gave you plenty of shit about how to tell the titles and stuff like that, or where we're going to stop. And all you had to do was press start in Space Marine 1. What you have to do for this, you have to save it, and then you have to try to save it again to see that load file's actual name, because that's the only way you're going to be able to see it. So I got fucking slurpy derpy in the fucking fountain of dirty ass water, and then I gotta do fucking slurp time 2, and that's when I can find out. I'm like, fuck, I'm so tired of fucking doing this. Just show me something in a chapter or something.
Just for clarity, I did not give Christian shit about the menu. I gave the dev shit to just say, be consistent and show them every chapter in on the screen.
Or that's all I said. Them at all,
but Preston, you're not wrong. Like looking back, it's 2020, right? I did not envision that somebody would be like, I can do this worse. And we just so happened to find it immediately.
Yeah.
Not to mention the checkpoint. I didn't even get to talk about the checkpointing in this game. How many times Preston fucks up and then has to go through a very small section and press the fucking A button. So that way it just fast forwards. Because it knows you're going to have to go through these cutscenes again.
It does.
It's not going to give you a checkpoint after the cutscene. It's like, you could press the A button, we'll go fast for you. I'm like, you fucking piece. Not even a skip. I'm like, you pieces of shit.
Dude,
they know they're pissing me off.
I saw that lady that jumped down on the plank, the tutorial one of like dodge her and knock her off. I saw that cutscene.
Oh,
40 times.
The booty girl, Shardy. She that first time you get to fight her. If you die, you have to go back to where you're under, like in the boat with that water coming out. You have to go back up there every time. There's 2 cutscenes through that entire section, and that's your checkpoint.
Question. How many times did you die in the tutorial?
You know how many times that fucking the trick that she does the uppercut with the both blades, and most time it's just like ching 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 ching, and then she does the thing, goes ah. Every once in a while she'll just pause a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm good. And she's like, no, ah, and she gets you again. I'm like, you fucking bitch, god damn it, every fucking time. It took me a long time to get used to that. I probably fought her 6 to 7 times.
I like the second time. That's way too. The second time you fight her too, they change it up by giving an extra beat, like an extra second to the boss. So like she has both combos. Sometimes she'll beat you and you're stunned. Other times she'll beat you and immediately do it.
Yeah.
But then she does that third one where she's like beats, and then you're like, oh cool, she's doing the first one, and then she comes in with it. And you're like,
too many times.
So I beat her first try both times,
I'm
but
just
that's good to
distracted by
know.
that booty, man. I'll get you every time.
It will not. It will
Again, I mean, she had cakes. Anyway,
Pass.
regardless of the situation, whether it was like fighting in the castle, fighting on the boat, fighting in general, she was wearing the most inappropriate clothing given any situation.
Oh.
You're going to be cold all the time. You're going to get, if you're fighting in that castle, this is sand time, you're going to get like rug burn essentially.
That bitch is getting tetanus
slide,
real easy, man. There's got to be some rusty metal
sand
somewhere down there.
everywhere. Like, this is not smart.
Jan
Not smart.
everywhere.
So anyway, thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. We will catch you next week. Don't forget, we have 2 episodes. We have our normal episode dropping on the normal day, and then, of course, we'll pick up with this part 2 later in the week. So we will catch you next time. Preston, it's getting late on my end, so you know what to do.
Look at that booty.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room.
Killing.
To catch up on past episodes or check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If watching is more your thing, check out youtube.com/thetestingroom or Twitch TV/testingroompod. To leave comments and ask questions, follow us on Instagram @testingroompod and email us at testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.